I'm outside Starbucks. In today's video, I'm gonna tell you 3 businesses that I started and absolutely failed at. If you're thinking about starting up a business, you should watch this video just to know, hey, does your idea suck at all? Stay tuned. Alright, let's see if I can find a way to set this without holding it. Doesn't this remind you of the old card videos, man? Let me take this off, it's freaking hot. Oh. By the way, before we start the video, I would love to kind of hear your side hustles. What side hustles are you working on? Did they work? Did they not? Love to kind of hear the process behind that. Been a long time since I've actually shot a video. Apologize, honestly. I've been really busy closing, moving. There's a lot of moving parts in my life, and honestly, I haven't been in the mood to shoot any YouTube videos because I wanted this whole master plan for this year, but it hasn't happened. But one thing I do want to focus on this year is helping people start side hustles. I really went back to basics. I've been reading a lot of your comments on my live streams every Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Shameless plug, by the way. But I've been reading a lot of comments, and a lot of you guys want to start side hustles. And I've also been thinking, pharmacy is at an all-time saturation, right? It's really hard for people to get a job. People have tons of debt. Why not start a side hustle, right? And I think that was one of my major things back in the day when I first looked into starting side hustles back in 2009, I think, right? If you're looking to make more money, to either save up for a house, pay off some debt, or my personal favorite, to invest more, or maybe go on that Hawaii vacation you always wanted to. Today I want to just share 3 different ideas about different side hustles that utterly failed and that you can learn from, actually. Because honestly, if you go out there online, there's a lot of videos about, here's a list of 100 different side hustles that you could do. But you know, the truth is not all side hustles are good, and I'm going to tell you why with these 3 business models. So if you're kind of curious about how I really got into business and doing all that, it was actually inspired by my dad. When I was really young, maybe about 10 years old, my dad actually told me, hey Kevin, don't work for someone, start a business. Funny thing enough, my dad never, from my knowledge, my dad never started a business before. But somewhere along pharmacy school, I was just like, oh, it's too much risk, it's too much risk. But honestly, I didn't know any better. So I remember when I was coming out the first year of undergrad, it was about 2009, my last year of college. I actually signed up for Ramit's Earn 1K course, and it really changed. At the time, it didn't seem that pivotal. I think that's how you say it. Anyways, but you know, that really kind of started my journey. And I'll be honest, I was one of those people who took courses and didn't complete them. That was me, man. I like to start things, but it's really hard for me to finish, and that's been always a weakness of mine. But I took the course and I tried running with it a few times. Now, I strayed off the path, and looking back at it, man, I made so many mistakes. And the goal of that program was really to make your first $1,000 via side hustle. Fast forward 10, 11 years later, making $1,000 via side hustle is a lot easier for me. Honestly, I don't do pharmacy anymore. I just focus on my hustle, right? And so my side hustle turned into a full-time hustle, I guess. Actually, it was never a side hustle. I just jumped into it. But you don't have to do that. And here's the truth. Having a business you don't have to quit your job and all that sort of stuff. But there's one thing that's really important about any sort of side business, is that you gain financial confidence knowing that you're not reliant on your employer for an income. You can eat what you kill, I think that's the expression, right? And I think that is an important skill in itself, right? Not to be reliant on others. Now, you'll see online, there's a lot of people saying, hey, start an Amazon FBA business and all that. Now, those businesses all work, but you know what those businesses all require? They all require some sort of startup capital. So if you don't have a lot of capital, I would recommend, hey, don't start an arbitrage business or a flipping business. Start something easy. Start a service-based business, very low startup. You get better over time, and then you can, there's multiple ways to monetize it, but you get to build your business acumen at the end of the day and build your business experience. So that was pretty much the start of me trying to do business. And let's get into the business failures, shall we? So in each of these business models, I'll be talking about 5 things. When I got started, who I did it with, how I did it, what went wrong, and what I learned from the whole experience. All right, let's start off with business numero uno. The first business I ever started was a protein powder business back in, I think, 2008, 2007, around that time. It was while I was in undergrad in college, and it was pretty funny. I read this article on this bodybuilding forum because I was really into lifting, bodybuilding, powerlifting back in the day. The username was Dogcrap. He was actually the owner of, I think it's called True Powders right now, but True Nutrition. And he was talking about how people can make a lot of money just buying bulk powders, repackaging them, and selling them to, and reselling them. Pretty much what he was talking about was private labeling, white labeling, whatever you want to call it, right? Buying in wholesale and reselling it. And I was like, oh man, I can sell all this protein, and worst case scenario, I'll just eat all the protein, like if it doesn't work out. By the way, it was a shit ton of protein. I don't think I would have ever finished it in a lifetime. But anyways, that's how I got started. I read this idea off a forum. So basically what I did was I purchased almost about 200 pounds of whey protein, repackaged it. I actually had to add the flavors in individually myself, and I did this with my brother, by the way. This is my first business was with my brother, and it was called Simple Supplements. I think the website's still up. I know the Facebook page is still up, but actually all the original files got lost when we had our flood at our home, so I'm just really sad that we don't have that anymore. But that's how the whole business started. We had a website, business cards, all that. We made all the mistakes because all of it actually went in the trash eventually. But I'm getting far ahead of myself. So we had that, and basically it was just word of mouth, telling my friends like, hey, I'm selling protein for a good price. My goal was to make protein a lot more affordable for people. So I think I would only make $5 per bottle or per jug or whatnot. We set these prices with no, like, we weren't talking about 10% profit margin, 20% profit margin. It literally was just like a few dollars each one, and there's no way from the start it would have been it would have been scalable. It would be really funny because like one of my friends would hit me up and be like, Kevin, I need protein. They would hit me with we would create the invoices. We would go into my office, right, which was like a room in one of our houses, and literally me and my brother would measure all the powders out, shake them up, make sure that the flavors were solid and all that. And that's how we started our business. And we actually did about maybe 2,000 in revenue, I think. I think, and this is off the top of my head, I don't know the exact numbers, but where it went wrong was that fulfillment is a bitch, by the way. If you, like, for me, I just hated doing the orders over and over and over again. That was a huge mistake that we didn't foresee, that fulfillment is really tough. It was not scalable. It was not, and we weren't making crazy amount of money where it made us like there was a positive reward pathway, right? It was only like about $5. Whoop-de-doo. I made more at my 9 to 5, honestly. And yes, could we have increased the prices? Sure. But at the end of the day, I just really did not enjoy the whole process of fulfillment as well. And looking at it now, after taking strength finders and all these other things, did not leverage the strengths that I was put on this earth for, right? So there's that. Also, we made the mistake, like I mentioned earlier, is that we bought business cards. We focused on all the wrong things rather than focusing on our USP, our unique selling proposition, what makes us different, or our positioning, what makes us different from the rest of the market. Sure, we had lowest prices of protein, but I mean, we were barely making any money. Honestly, it was more like a charity, and we probably lost a lot more money too, because when we had a flood, we lost about, I would say, $400 worth of protein. So was it really worth it? Not really. So that was the first business back in college, right? Some things I learned from the protein business is that, you know, arbitrage is really hard. Flipping things, especially if you're self-fulfilling, that stuff is basically like a second job. Some people really love that, but what I learned from that experience is that you have to enjoy what you do. First of all, you have to make it rewarding for yourself to look forward to fulfilling an order, because honestly, $5 isn't really gonna cut it. Also, we're really naive to just jump into the business model without even talking to anyone. So that was a huge thing. We didn't model after anyone. We just shot from the hip and just try to sell stuff, right? And that's an absolute way to fail. And looking back, I would not start an arbitrage business. I would start more of a service-based business. All right, time for business number dos. My second business, oh man, this was funny. I totally forgot about this. This was actually in pharmacy school. So in pharmacy school, I was really into powerlifting and whatnot. And I actually had a personal training business at one point. It was really funny. So I actually started this personal training business, I think back in 2010 during the first year of pharmacy school. And back during that time, we didn't have things like Reddit wasn't really big. Bodybuilding.com was huge. And I would actually be one of these internet lurkers on the forums, right? On the forums. And it was very similar to Reddit, where people would post different articles. And I joined this website called ironaddicts.com. It was really great. It's where I hired my first personal trainer at the time. And I was like, man, this guy is making a lot of money. Can't I do the same? So basically, I modeled after that guy's thing. And honestly, I did word of mouth. I had zero marketing. I just told my friends, hey, I'm doing personal training. One of my friends bought for 1 month, and I had a whole system. I remember creating this whole system of like an intake form and all that sort of stuff. Modeled everything based off my other trainer. But and basically provide services like that. It literally, like I said, it only lasted for 1 month. And at the time, I had no idea how to work with clients. Did not know how to do sales. We just like set an arbitrary price and did a test trial, and it absolutely bombed because I was just bad at fulfillment. So what went wrong with that business was that I didn't actively market it, right? And more important is that, you know, whatever business you do, especially service business, you have to have confidence and the credibility to back it up. Far too often you see people who are, and just like when I say credibility, you don't have to be some guru or anything like that, but just credible enough where you know you can solve someone's problems. Like for me, I was pretty strong back in the day. By far no means like elite powerlifter strength, right? But I did have some numbers, right? And but I've never had six-pack abs or anything like that, and I have always struggled with my weight growing up, partially because of the Chinese diet that we always had, and me not being super disciplined and focused, right? So how was I supposed to lead other people through that problem? And that was a huge thing. And I think looking back on it, it was a good idea to start something like a service-based business. It was already tested, proven business model that a lot of people are already doing that is successful, but was it successful for me? Not so much. And I don't think I had a clear roadmap to help my clients, to bring them through the journey. Like, hey, week 1 we're going to be focusing on XYZ. This is what we're going to review. All these sort of things that I just lacked because I just didn't know, because no one teaches you, right? So that was that. Oh boy, business model number 3. Dating service. Oh man, so this was actually during my last year of staying in Boston. It was about 2013. I was actually going through a breakup at the time, and I was just like, man, all these businesses are not working. I really wanted to start a business because I wanted to exit, even at that time, I sort of wanted to exit strategy out of pharmacy, add another stream of revenue, and learn and have that replace everything. So I remember starting to take Ramit's Earn 1K course all over again, and we had this crazy idea of doing, like, yes, we had like OkCupid and some other apps in 2013. I don't think Tinder was big quite yet, but we had all these things. Maybe it was, but man, this is so embarrassing. I started with one of my friends who actually runs a really great bakery, and we were really close, and we were just talking about, oh man, what happens if we could play like a matchmaker more? Because one of the pain that we were trying to solve at the time was that, you know, a lot of these dates, they're fucking boring. There's a lot of boring dates. So if we could set up a date, set up some activities where people can get to know each other, that'd be great. And so what was really funny was that we never sold it, we never marketed it, but we tried testing it, and we tried testing it with 2 of my friends that we tried to set up. They did, by the way, did not get together at all. I think my friend actually ended up sort of liking the girl, and this thing is in my eye, but it was really funny. I think my friend actually ended up liking the girl, and she did not feel the same way, and it went south. After I actually left, we were planning to continue it after I left for LA, but we just never fulfilled on it. And I guess, like, and we had really great games. We had like, I think we had like a Q&A type of game. I forget exactly what it is, and maybe I'll shoot my friend a quick call and see if she remembers like that whole process, right?
Hello?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. How you doing?
Doing pretty well. Hey, I wanted to ask you something, and and I wonder if I can record it too. And I'm not gonna put your name or anything like that on YouTube or anything like that. But do you remember that time we started a dating service?
Yes.
Looking back on it, how do you feel about it? Like that whole experience, man.
How do I feel about it?
Yeah, like looking back on it, is this something that you laugh at, or like I don't know, when so one of the things that I'm talking about in my video right now is that like looking back all the mistakes that we made back in the day doing that dating service, and it's kind of cringy looking back on it these days, at least for me.
I don't know, I kind of feel like it's just like not a confirmation, but just something that shows that our nature is kind of like, we just want a business of our own, and that's one of like the beginning stages of just figuring it all out, of what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, I think it was really funny because I remember at the time we were taking like Ramit's like Earn 1K course and all that. We're like sitting in coffee shops trying to figure everything out, and yeah, it's just a really funny experience in my opinion, you know.
I think it's silly too, but honestly it's kind of just like, I'm not surprised.
Dude, do you remember how we came up with the idea?
I have no idea. I do not remember at all.
Dude, I remember at the time, I think I was like going through a breakup. A lot of my friends were using like things like OK. Oh yeah, you know what? One of my friends was actually using OkCupid, and she's just getting burned by dates over and over and over again.
Oh,
so,
jeez.
Yeah, I think.
So maybe that was part of it.
Yeah, I think so. We were trying to solve that problem and whatnot. Yeah, but I mean, even when we were working on it, wasn't it pretty? I don't know. I thought even though like we were working on it, I still had a lot of fun, like just having something to look forward to and all that as well, you know?
Yeah, no, I definitely think the same thing. I feel like it's just something new to learn and to see how it goes, right? Like, there are no mistakes, it's just that it's something new that we tried.
Yeah.
And whether it works out or not, it's like, oh, okay, like next time I know, like, this is for me or this isn't for me, or we should prepare this better or that better.
Yeah.
And like, you can either keep on doing it or you just stop.
Looking back, what would you do differently, in your opinion?
What I do differently? I don't know. I don't think I would do anything differently. I think it just played out how it was supposed to be.
Well, that's you have a better outlook than I do, man. I look at it and I'm just like, damn, it's so cringy in my opinion, but...
No, think about it. Now when I talk to most business people, right, like, I always find out that the successful ones that I talk to, it's not their first business.
Yeah.
They've had like 4 to 6, so
yeah.
It doesn't make me feel bad about it. It just is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
I'm sure they probably had some cringeworthy moments too.
That's true. Do you remember trying to run the business too? Like when we first did the test between our friends?
I think it was hard because we didn't have that many people to choose from.
Dude, I think those were the only people that we chose from, man.
Exactly. So it's like, I don't think we had much of a choice, so we just kind of worked with what we could.
Yeah.
So I feel like we did our best, to be honest, and
yeah.
I don't know, what are you gonna do, right?
That's true. That's true. Cool.
I don't feel weird about it. It's definitely not like the greatest idea looking back, but hell, compared to like what we knew back then, how are we supposed to know that?
Yeah, that's true. Gotcha. Awesome. Well, I just wanted your opinion about that. I'll probably cut this up and make it entertaining and stuff. But yeah, thanks, man. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. No problem. Hope you're doing great.
Yeah, cool. Talk to you later.
Okay. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. What I learned from this business model is that you have to model for, like, if you're a first-time business owner and you don't know what you're doing, model after an existing model that is working already. Do not try to recreate the wheel, because the more complicated you make the offer, the harder it is to communicate the value of the offer. But like, why should people pay for it? What problem are you solving, right? And like, at that time I had no business acumen, and it was just really, really funny. And like, we put in all this work, and it goes to show you, right, it's so important to have like a business mentor behind you, right? And I'm not saying it's essential, but how I would probably do something like that now is like, okay, find a really reputable dating coach or something like that. Get their opinion on it, see what options there are on the market that people are already paying for, not something that you think that the market's gonna pay for. Try, test it, build out all this shit, and then have it not work, right? I think in entrepreneurship, like, we should have really just, I think really it's about getting your quick wins really, really quickly. But one thing that we did do right, we did create more of a service-based business, which is something I feel very strongly about, and I think is a great way for a lot of people to make money. There is a happy ending to all this. Eventually I left pharmacy. One of the things I do is sales, I do YouTube and all that, and I provide a service that people are willing to pay top dollar. Like, for example, doing something like sales or marketing, you can make at least $1,000 to for example, yesterday in less than 1 hour I made about $1,500, right, through commissions and whatnot. But it's a high level barrier of entry. I'm not even telling you to do that. Choose something simple. Right now I'm creating an ultimate guide to side hustle. So if you guys want that, please let me know what you want in it. I actually created a 12-point checklist. I really love checklists, by the way, but a 12-point checklist of how to vet the perfect idea and to decide whether you should do this idea or not. I've reviewed it with a few people. What I want to do is actually test it out with a few people, but hey, if you're watching this video, you're probably in inner circle, I guess, or the inner scoop. So download it, sign up for my email list below, and let me know what you think about it. I would love to get as much feedback as you can, and if I can help you watching this video start a side hustle and turn it into your main hustle, or keep it a side hustle and have like another stream of revenue, you're just going to be in a better place. You're going to be a lot happier. You're going to feel a lot more confident, and you're going to hit your goals a lot quicker. So anyways, guys, would love to kind of hear your sort of business ventures in the past, whether they're successful or freaking failures. Let me know in the comments below. As always, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye.